What do I not need? What am I missing? What am I not liking? What do I think I need to change? And I ask myself that on everything. I ask myself that on my t-shirts. I ask it on the cars that I own. I ask it in the pantry. I ask it in my flatware drawer. I ask it of my stereo equipment. And I go through and I do my best to keep things functionally excellent. Hey everyone, I have all this stuff out. We've been working on making sure I wanted to have everything at my house here. And I started to get nostalgic on, me and Mike are here talking about all this stuff and all the years and countless, I probably could be retired now if I had all the money back of all the detailing stuff that I bought and put in a 55-gallon garbage can and thrown away or given away over the years, way before Obsessed Garage, and then it's become now my thing. I would say 20% of my obsession is this, the detailing stuff that leads me into the detailing process, which the addiction is really the detailing result. I don't like washing cars. I don't like polishing. I don't like detailing specifically, but I love the result that I get. I love the pride that I get in maintaining a car, maintaining a garage, maintaining my life. And so, you've seen me, enter into the house with the Destination OG project. I did Adam LZ's house. We've done some outdoor kitchens. I've done, lighting in garages. To me, the anchor of the whole thing is the garage. And then all this stuff goes in it. And then the result is a beautiful, shiny car. But really, what I've realized over the years is that, and this was why I started the YouTube channel, the connection point or the reasoning for doing all of this is when I'm sitting here talking to you about soap. It's that connectivity, it's that relationship. Most people view this as, well, man, you're showing off all your stuff. It's a material thing. It's really not for me. I never knew this, but my love of, say, GT3, really the connection point there is all of my other friends that have GT3s that I otherwise probably would have never met, and the satisfaction, the gratitude that comes from being, getting to the point in life where you can get one of those because it's a culmination of a lot of work and effort. And the same thing holds true for each one of these individual parts and pieces here that lead to now what I call the Detailing Master Collection. There's a lot of people out there that are they're great practitioners, they're great detailers that have a lot of experience, that have much more skill than I have at, correcting a paint or using a rotary polisher, or maybe there's some, car wash specific, large format car washes that have, tested more products. But there's something unique about my story and my path to this, I think, that has, significant value. The obsession, the real medically diagnosed, problematic at times, obsessive compulsive disorder, my crushing desire and love of catalogs and reading through catalogs and shopping a catalog and then distilling down from that catalog what I might be interested in, and then the risk, the willingness to punt, I think has been an important component in this, creating the structure of this whole package, this whole thing, what's on the shelf here. It's been the 300-page catalog and then sifting through that catalog to find the right fitting, or buying 27 buckets at one point, 27 different types of buckets in all shapes and sizes and colors and brands, and then figuring out that the 6-gallon was the one that I liked the most. It's been the trial and error that and putting this sort of primordial soup of things, weird, crazy, willing to try and fail, and then the rocket fuel that the social media thing, YouTube and Facebook and the connectivity, the Obsessed Garage Facebook group, the 50,000 people there, and the input and the feedback loop. It's almost like, you start with what do they start with, little punch cards, and then eventually, you had a 386 Max, and then a Pentium chip, and then now we have quantum computing and AI, where you have this exponential increase in gathering of information, and that's what's happened to me, and that I did it on my own, fumbling around, then eventually went to different trainings to confirm what it was that I was doing, and what I was doing was correct. And then the feedback loop of all of you has created a super organism of information that I've been able to tap into, and I really enjoy that process. And so I think that although there are people that are certainly qualified to suggest what you might buy, there's lots of people that have tested lots of products, there's lots of professionals that have lived it, but this odd combination of things that have come together has made me sort of uniquely set up to put something like this together. And I think the most important component is just that pure obsession. If you give me a 300-page catalog, you might as well have given me a gallon of delicious, vanilla ice cream. That it feels the same to me. I get that same dopamine hit when I get to sift through a catalog and figure out what I might want, as I would if I ate a bowl of soft serve delicious ice cream. And I know that's crazy, but that's the truth. And I've finally had some time here to dig in and put this together. And the reason for it, there's almost always a functional life reason for me to choose a product that then goes into the Obsessed Garage site, right? And I know that's hard for many people to understand, or maybe some don't believe it. But every single thing here it's not about, and most of the stuff is it's not a lot of money, like each individual component, it adds up to a lot. But most of the things here are just choosing something that I think is functionally excellent. This drying aid or this, Angel Wax Vision glass cleaner may or may not be the best, because I may not have found the best, but it's the best that I know of, and chances are now, especially, this is what I do. I have a lot of access to information, a lot of access to products. People are sending me stuff all the darn time. Like, I can't even process it all. What you're seeing is my entire life, and 20% of that, let's say, 20% of my waking thought is on this, and so is on detailing, and it is on the result of what detailing gets me. And so each one of these components has been years of, a lot of times, screw ups. Some of it's years of getting advice from others. It's now, the last 10 years of my life has been aggregating comments, aggregating messages, aggregating connection to other humans, and then utilizing that aggregated information, that data, and process that to be able to make a decision on what is going to be a good process, and of course trying it, doing it, using it, testing it out, and so that's what what you're seeing here is this is essentially every single thing that I would use to polish a car or take care of a car from start to finish. No frivolous, no extra, no special other stuff that I just have. Everything in here gets used. Otherwise, I don't want it. It scares me. Some of my friends, Payne the Organizer, Rick's Audi Double Rad Garage, and I see they have all these products and all this stuff, and it's it scares, that kind of scares me, because I have that tendency as well too, to say, look, I get all this stuff, it's hard to part with. The Coach Chemi stuff looks so cool. If I want I have the whole line of Coach Chemi, I'm going to just pick a spot in my cabinet and keep it. And I want to do that naturally, and so it takes a lot to fill up a trash can and go stick it in the OG HQ and say, here, free, take this, so that I keep my life in order. And so this is There's no redundancy here. There's no excess, even though it may look ridiculous. This is a 20-foot, countertop. This is what I use, and I use regularly. And if I don't use it regularly, then it's not going to make the cut for my personal garage. And then the byproduct of this has always been, if I like something and if I'm using something, there's probably others that can relate to that would likely want the same thing. And so the Obsessed Garage concept is born out of that. This would take us 3 hours if we go through the story of each thing. You see a lot of Pressol bottles here, and they're not done yet. The Pressol pursuit has been, it's gone like this, where I've, somebody in the comments, he had sent me an email saying that he was in a shop somewhere in Europe and saw these bottles. They were orange, but they looked really interesting, and I might want to check it out, because I had made a bunch of videos of me just showing all these bottles and sprayers that I bought from all over the world, and I just could never find ones that I love. And so the starting point on Pressol was always, they look great, they function pretty well, and there's a couple of problems with being able to put labels on them. This isn't even the best bottle. The best bottle is the one that's kind of oblong and turned, and that's an even bigger project. And then through us, what I decided to do was try to find them after George's recommendation, and I paid, I think it was like $100+ per bottle, and I got 3 of them. Yeah, this is the version. This was the one I got, and I paid like $100 and something to get. And it wasn't that the bottle, the sprayer was $100 something. It was the shipping, duties, taxes, waiting a month to get it, because I ordered it from like eBay, the Netherlands, or something like that, paying all kinds of fees and stuff to get it. And I fell in love with the base of the product, or the base of the thing. And so I started using it. And I was having pretty good success. I didn't really have any problems, but I only had 3 of them, so I only had 3 products in them. And so I knew that when we brought it here, I knew that others might want to help me beta this, test this. And this was 3.5 years ago at this point. And so I came up with the concept of, this is something that's like in their catalog that they don't really care much about. And so I knew that the risk was high, that they would just, if they've already spent a bunch of money on creating this, that you get what you get. And we're not changing anything, because they hadn't sold any of them, hardly any of them. And so I knew that was a real potential if I'd push too hard. And so I came up with this idea of, I can't do a Kickstarter. I don't have the manpower to do my own SolidWorks version and prototyping of a spray head. And so I knew if I could utilize the Germans' expertise, the base product was really good, that maybe I could talk you guys into buying them. We can buy them together. You don't have to pay $100+ to get them. I'll bring them over as cheaply as possible. And we'll just disclaim and say, look, we don't know if these are good or not. We don't know what chemicals might cause problems. Long story short, we were 3.5 years into me sort of gathering that data and saying to people, hey, when you buy this, there's no warranties. I want you to know what you're getting into. And yet, still my reputation takes a hit by chasing this. And I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the effort. And so I think we're really close. There is a stainless tip now. The stainless tip is coming. The other problem we have is labels sticking. You'll notice there's not one on a Tarex bottle, because Tarex leaches through the bottle and then the label falls off the chute. Darn pen or marker won't even stay on a Tarex bottle. So we're going to be fluorinating those, and then Breakbuster. Notice I don't have a Breakbuster bottle here because it killed my sprayer. Breakbuster is a killer of the sprayer. But in general, the function's great, the ergonomics are great, the look is great, when we put a label on it, looks awesome. And so it's solving all those problems, and we're really, really close to fixing it. And so the Pressol bottles, for me, stay in my garage. I use them every day. It's the best experience I have, and I just buy like extra tips, and I have an extra spray head or 2 for every 12 months when a spray head fails on Breakbuster, and I just take the label off of the Tarex, and I deal with that. Just like with a Tolco sprayer, just like with an IK, I'm dealing with some other problems or some other, idiosyncrasies, and I'm hoping to solve those for people in detailing in the world. And we're close, and I think we'll get there. So I tell you that Pressol story. I'm not going to go through that on all this stuff, but that's a microcosm of what this entire cabinet has been for me personally. I'd say I started detailing when I first discovered a clay bar in the year 2000. 2002, mid 2002. It depends on what your definition of detailing. Before that day, before I met Vince, and Vince showed me how to clay bar my new Formula Red S2000. Didn't know how to polish yet, but when I found that opened up Pandora's box. And then I had a sales rep in home theater drop me or turned me on to the Griot's Garage catalog, and the rest was history in chasing. But the Pressol story, connects to all of this stuff. Connects to, the drying aid story, which is, a long history of. It started with Griot's Garage spray wax. And me reading in their catalog or their tutorials that maybe it's a good idea to spray some wax on the wet surface to help, create an extra little sacrificial layer and help the water dry. By the way, at that time I was using a water blade afterwards, so I'd spray it with spray wax and then take the scratch machine of a water blade and scratch the crap out of the paint when I was doing that. I didn't know. We didn't know. I had to figure it out. It was about getting the car dry. The discovery of sanding Alcantara that Lars from Color Lock, as I got longer into this game and started to have a little bit of influence, I started to have manufacturers come to me. And so I had the balls on the steering wheel of the M5, the F10 M5 that I was doing a giveaway on, and actually at the time I don't think it was a giveaway, it was just my car. And he went in there and said, well, you can just sand the Alcantara, and showed me, changed my whole perspective on how to take care of the fabric. They explained to me how, think about when you wash your clothes, that the detergent doesn't clean it, the detergent just helps to lift. It's the rinse cycle that actually removes the dirt. So you do that with Alcantara, get the cleaning product in there, and a discovery of what's a good cleaning product, and ruining Alcantara with the wrong stuff to find stuff that I find works really well, and then learning how to use it, over the years from collaborating and developing relationships, and then, again, trial and error. And there's hundreds of products on this table to get to where we're at. And some of it's been technology. The tech has changed. You've seen me use these guys. If you guys, the OGers, have been around a long time. I mean, these are the OGs. This was the original. But these two products I held on to longer than most had when they transitioned to, the new tech. And, for me, it took a while for me to find something that looked and felt like this combination of wax and sealant looked. And then, it's discovered through my relationship with Esoteric, discovered Kamikaze ISM. I hated the grabbiness of the A quartz that turned into the original version of C quartz. So I was slower to abandon the original process and to choose the new tech. And we've seen a lot of changes in detailing in general. I'll never forget the day at Esoteric when I first used this guy. I know I don't have an air compressor in this garage, but when I got a hold of a 15 millimeter pneumatic driven 3-inch, and the smoothness and how amazing this thing is in operation. And you know what the crazy part is, now I don't even use that anymore because of modern new discoveries of things like the Mirka polisher that was a $900 flyer for me, and that was based on a few suggestions that I should consider it, and the people that suggested it, I trusted their judgment, and so then getting a hold of the Mirka 3-inch, and then talking them into making sure that we have these in the U.S. because they had virtually none of them. So the process of putting this all together changed for me when I had to start sharing it with others, you know, and that's what made me start to think about packages. Of course, it started with the Krenzla. You know, I was making videos on YouTube, and I was washing my car, and I had these brass quick disconnects, and those of you who've been around a long, long time, since 2014. So one of the first videos I made was the $500 hose reel. It was a $200 hose reel and a $200-something hose, and then a $80 sprayer. And I would drag the hose out, and I would use that to clean my wheels. And then I would have the Krenzla, and I had a little whip. Ely was the only one that made a 6.5-inch little whip hose, because I didn't want to disconnect my hose to connect the Krenzla. And then eventually I got a CR spotless, and so then I had all these parts and pieces. Because I spent a lot of money on this, I wanted to put it all back away, and so I had built this system with all this weird stuff from all over the world. And then I'm making videos, and everybody's asking me about it. And of course, I'm like, well, clearly other people want this thing too, because now we all know that it works, and it works well because I'm showing everybody. And then, rest is history. I went and tried to figure out how to get all that stuff gathered up. And if for those of you who don't know the story, I put up all 13 of the parts and pieces of all the quick disconnects for the Krenzla system, and I lost 5,000 subscribers that night. Because I put 13 videos up at once. And people were like, what is this? Unsubscribe. Too many videos showing up in my feed. And I was like, oh crap, I screwed that up. And then, we sold $40,000 or $50,000 worth of pressure washers the next day when I turned the pre-order on. So the big change here for me, just this last go around, I'm losing my studio at the yarn building that I took a couple of years to build, and it's like the studio is in a cocoon now. I got to put it back in the cocoon so it can transform and hatch, and it will hatch as a new product or a new thing in the new building that I now own. But I'm going to have this period where I don't have a place. And this is the time. For me, this is detailing time. I like to detail after the winter, right after pollen, and then I like to dial all my cars in. And now I'm on more of a 2-year cycle in a correction protection. So one of my cars is on that 2-year cycle. Actually, 2 of them are the Raptor and the E36 M3. And so those 2 cars need to be detailed. And so it forced me to go into my cabinets here in this house. I've been in this house for 2 years as well. I haven't detailed anything in here other than just doing normal washing. So my washing stuff was set up, but my detailing stuff wasn't. And so I took this as an opportunity to go back through. This is probably the 25th time, because I used to go through it multiple times a year, where I've gone back through the whole thing, the whole grouping of stuff. What do I not need? What am I missing? What am I not liking? What do I think I need to change? And I ask myself that on everything. I ask myself that on my t-shirts. I ask it on the cars that I own. I ask it in the pantry. I ask it in my flatware drawer. I ask it of my stereo equipment. And I go through and I do my best to keep things functionally excellent. And so that's what I think you're seeing here in this culmination of products. We're going to have here in the store shortly the Master Collection. My dream has always been to have a full end-to-end solution where everything you would need, in fact, everything you would need to build this garage. The light switches, we have the paint color dictated. I'll tell you what mini split to get, what garage door opener to have, what flooring, lighting, tools, cabinets. It started with detailing. It continues to be detailing, but it really is the garage. The garage is the anchor of this whole thing. And the plan, once I started to figure out what my life purpose was to be able to put everything on a countertop like this, make sure it all fits together, and then provide that as a one-click solution that virtually no one's going to buy, because I haven't added this up, but I think it's certainly over $10,000 worth of stuff without the darn pressure washer. And so it's a lot of money, but very few people are going to do that. My muse has always been, Park Tool. Park Tool has a, spreadsheet, and they have a master collection of basically one of everything you would need to be a master mechanic. And I've never bought that kit. I've thought about it many times, but I've used that spreadsheet as a listing of what tools I might want, what tools I might need. And to be honest, I still haven't pulled the trigger on that to this day. I just have a real base set of tools to work on my bikes. And someday, I'm probably just going to click that button. And actually, I may just use that spreadsheet as a shopping guide. And I think that's what I've always wanted for Obsessed Garage, and we're ready to do that. And so that's what you're seeing here. We're going to take this and figure out how to photograph it on the floor in one big photo. We might even make like a little white background, so we can get it all laid out in one spot. And then create the spreadsheet so that you can use it as a shopping list. From there, go into simplifying this. This is very different than pressure washing, where you have a good, better, best pressure washer. To me, there's only one CarPro eraser. There's no good, better, or best. There's only one. To me, there's only one soap for regular pH neutral washing, and that's GSF. To me, there's only, one, pick one of these, one easy detail brush. There's no better one, worse one, cheap one. This thing's like, $12 or something like that. Now, it adds up to a lot. But what do I need to start? What do I need to finish? And what do I need everything in between? That's what I want to answer since we have this complete collection. Yeah, my life's mission has transitioned from, me and what do I like to that satisfaction. I can't imagine what it would be like if you've saved and you worked and then an 80-pound Krensla box was on your front step. And I told you about it, and you've seen me talk to you about it. And then you go, and I said, I would like to see your face when you go try to pick it up. And then you actually do. That has been the transition for me, in that, I love doing this for my own cars, but the satisfaction of the relationship that I get from all of you has been really the life's pursuit. And yeah, I'd love to be there and see you, open up the drying aid and put it on the car, or unbox your very first, Milwaukee or Rupes polisher and use it for the first time. But there's something about the extra component. This is when my life changed, was when I invited you into my garage, unedited, unscripted, literally unedited in the beginning, out of focus, and yet it's changed the whole reason. It's changed the reason for me to do this. And that's what this is to me. And that's what these cabinets are and the flooring is, and the cars have become much less important, because the material thing is the connection point. The material thing is not the thing. It's the relationship to the thing, the shared interest in the thing, the shared interest really in the result that the thing gets us. An awesome audio system gets you a unique listening experience, and then if I can share that with others, then we get to share it together. In an otherwise introverted world of introverted people, that thing, this tape, oddly enough, can be the material object that creates the connection point. And so having a master collection creates however many products there are here. There are 400 products, 400 different connection points to me. And that's been the realization of this. And I know it sounds hacky and goofy and weird, but it's true. It just took me a long time to figure that out. What am I doing here? Why am I sharing this?
Well, the thread that connects it is that you've got like-minded people who don't accept just, some generic tape, but they want the tape and so you're connecting to people who are interested in something that's better than just the status quo of like, let's just go get the most basic tape. you're talking to a group of people who want a better tape or want a better drying aid or whatever.
I think the hardest thing for people to comprehend is that it's not about expensive. The cost, the price has nothing, that's just a number. Numbers to me is just mathematics. I have no connection to that. This is about finding something that is excellent, and then we back into what that costs, and then we figure out how to go get it. And that, I think we all share in common. It's about it's about the result, and it's about the pursuit. It's about the unwillingness to do things halfway. And that's what being obsessed means. And that's what like-minded people can connect on. And it's hard for an outsider to understand. And it's not my job to bring everybody together, it's to bring us together. And that's what detailing can do. That's what an object can do. That's what a light bulb to me has done for me. So I thought I would make a video here sharing that story with you. The garage is the anchor of the obsession to me. The house, my house, when I walk through that door, I picture the house and the kitchen and my home theater and my office and my desk. All that stuff is attached to this, not the opposite. You see in every real estate, every real estate listing, they never put a picture of the garage. When I list my house, picture 1 is the exterior, picture 2 is the garage. And I told any realtor, any house I've ever sold, I don't give a crap what you want, this is what you need to do. Because everybody wants to see that. Even somebody who doesn't care about cars, if you were to walk into this garage and you were a gardening, older woman and don't give a crap about cars, you drive a Honda Accord, if you walk into this garage, you're gonna want it. And so the garage to me is the anchor. It's where I enter the house, it's where I exit the house, it's where I spend a lot of my time, it's where I'm at most at home. And so detailing is a major component of what I do in the garage. And it's really humbling to see. This is, I hate to say it, I've done a lot of things in my life, but this is one of the most important aspects of it. It probably shouldn't be, but it is. And each one of these products has a story. Maybe someday I'll tell the story on every single one of them. Thanks for being here. Thanks for your support. It's springtime. Get stocked up. Go to obsessedgarage.com. Help keep me doing this, because I love it. Thanks for watching.